Hello everyone, I'm Rosefear, and I made a big mistake today. And no, that mistake was not buying Atomic Heart just because Ukraine said not to.
Ah! Demon got me.
Okay, so for real, I did end up making a mistake today, and that mistake was picking up this absolutely ridiculous side quest that nearly killed me laughing. Like multiple times, I just nearly fell out of my chair laughing. There was one time where I just had to get up and walk away from my computer because I was laughing so hard. It was just one of those I could not stop. It was so ridiculous. I love every second of it. It's absolutely amazing. I've been having a lot of fun with this quest chain. Now, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you don't want things spoiled, go ahead and click off. But with that being said, I had a lot of people in my comments telling me that there was these side quests that are really good. Some of them give context to the main story. Some of them are funny. Some of them have characters that show up later on in the main story, the MSQ. And I'm like, okay, so I'll do one of these. And I had somebody tell me to do this one in particular for my first big side quest, right? Like one of the better side quests. They're like, you have to do the rise and fall of gentlemen. And I was like, okay, I have no idea what this is. They told me where to start it, and I went and started it. And that was the mistake. The mistake was picking up this quest because it's absolutely hilarious, and it sucked away my entire day when I was supposed to be working on VTuber stuff. I'm not even close to being finished with it. I put together a video. It ended up being 53 minutes long, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to post that. It's way too long. But anyways, all that being said, this quest chain is awesome, and if you haven't done it, obviously I think you should do it. I'm not even completely done with it myself. I'm barely starting the first couple episodes because it's like an episodic thing, and it had a what was the name of that movie? I can't think of the name of the movie. It had like a Godfather ending to it, like one of them. Like it was just, I don't even know. It has nothing to do with Final Fantasy at all. Like you don't have to do this for main story at all. It's just stupid, right? And so I started this quest, and I meet with the assistant to this inspector guy, and I'm forgetting her name. It's like Nasha or something like that. And you meet with her, and she's grieving at the inspector's grave, and she's like gonna take up after him and continue on his legacy and so on and so forth. But her first order of business is to take care of this zombie threat that's happening, right? She's gonna take care of the zombies and get rid of them, and she wants you to befriend the zombies so that you can schedule a meeting with the head zombie, and then she can kill them, the head zombie, so that she can take care of the zombie threat. And it's the dumbest plan ever, and of course you just go through with it. And so yeah, you end up getting a piece of paper, you take it back to her, and then you and her go out to the desert where you say the magic words, and a group of zombies show up, and then the head zombie as well shows up, or at least he thinks he's the head zombie, but he's not, right? It's actually Hildebrand, and he's the inspector, right? The inspector is actually the zombie, and he's lost all of his memories because he had been blown up and shot into the sky for years, and then finally fell back down to Earth, or the Eorzea or whatever. He fell back down and splattered onto the ground and somehow managed to not die. But everybody thought he was dead. But he came back as a zombie. But he's also not a zombie. It like I said, it's just ridiculous. And then, of course, Nasha, who I'm just going to start calling the assistant because, again, I don't remember her name. Hildebrand's assistant is prepared for this. She's like, I knew you were going to be fine, and I know exactly how to cure your amnesia, too. I'm going to throw these giant freaking grenades at your face and blow you up. And I'll show a clip here of that. Death. And she does this because she's like, oh, you know what? If I throw these grenades at his face, that's gonna cure his amnesia, because the only way to cure amnesia is to hit somebody in the head with an equally large impact that initially knocked their memories out of their head, right? So that's her reasoning for this, and she blows him up, and I could not stop laughing at this. The poses that Hildebrand was making, like I couldn't stop laughing at that, and just the way that he was conversing and the facial expressions. It's just so ridiculous, and it's so funny. It's a very particular type of humor. Some people probably think it's really stupid, but I thought it was great. Now, moving on, like I did make it to the second part of this whole like quest chain thing, and that was just the most ridiculous thing ever, because you're trying to get this, you're trying to find this duelist who's been taking people's weapons, right? And it's actually kind of a cool story because he's taking people's weapons. He's trying to find this ultimate sword, and he's dueling people in like single combat. He's being fair about it, even though he's stealing their weapons still. And it's just, it's all like this whole stupid thing, right? So you're trying to find with the inspector and his assistant, and you're like tagging along for the ride. You're just basically watching this story as it unfolds. Your character just doesn't even need to be there for this story to happen. But yeah, so you're following him around, and he's trying to find this duelist, and of course he gets sidetracked immediately and then stops looking for the duelist, and he starts trying to help this person named Yellow Moon, who's she's lost her piece of jewelry called the Pure Heart, but he thinks it's a weapon, not a piece of jewelry. So the duelist must have taken it, and it was ended up being these people that were creeping on this woman, Yellow Moon, and they were following her around the city of Ul'dah in boxes. Like these crates were following her around the city, and they were constantly like stealing little bits and pieces from her. And you know, they were saying they were keeping it for like safekeeping and so on and so forth, and it's just absurd. And yeah, I'm getting so lost because there's so many things that happen, and it was just so ridiculous. And of course, to blow up the crates, the assistant had the same bombs ready to go for that exact moment. She's like, "Hey, yeah, it'll be fun. We'll just blow up these crates because these crates seem to be following her around." Yes, that's the first thing that you would do. Um, it's just funny thinking about it again. But yeah, so you blow up the crates, you find that out, and then Hildebrand's like, "Oh, well, I guess we found the culprit. It's not actually a duelist, it's this group of people." And then, you know, somebody comes along and it's like, "Nope, you're wrong. It actually is a duelist." And he runs off before the person's able to give him any information about it. But of course, he shows up at the correct location and talks to the correct person anyways when you get there. And it's absolutely ridiculous because this guy named Humphrey has lost this heirloom sword to this old man, and it's in its own way, it's kind of sad, and it would be sad that he lost this old man's heirloom sword from his father. That would be sad, but they instantly break any sort of like maybe little bit of emotion you would have for this old man by him complaining that his luscious golden locks had fallen out and now he's completely bald. "Look at me, you bleeding whoreson, look at me. My flowing golden locks are no more. I've gone bald from the stress of the heartbreak." So, the stress of him losing this sword caused him to go bald. It's the dumbest, most ridiculous thing. I couldn't stop laughing again when I heard that dialogue. Like, it was just unbelievable. And of course, you start digging around, you end up finding some random sword that has nothing to do with the old man, and he's like, "Yes, this is exactly it." And you give him the sword, and then the assistant comes in, and she's got a whole crate of hair growth tonic and some clothes for Hildebrand because he's been walking around in his zombie suit forever now. So he gets dressed, and the old man is sitting there in the back just dumping this stuff on his head as you're having this conversation with Hildebrand and where you're going to go from here and stuff like that. So you're having this conversation with them, and the old man is silent, just kind of just dumping the hair tonic on his head, one bottle after the next. And I at some point said, if his hair grows back, I'm going to lose it, because I was like on edge of just laughing at shit when that was going on. And then next thing you know, like a playing card comes flying into the room and it sticks right into Hildebrand's forehead. And at some point after that, or he's being challenged to a duel by the duelist, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get in the best in my clothes now." So he gets dressed, and the old man's head starts shining, and it like casts like this massive like glow out from behind Hildebrand, and Hildebrand's getting dressed, and I'm like, "Oh no!" I'm thinking this whole time, I was like, "This guy's hair is gonna grow in, and it's gonna be this massive, just like poof." And it ended up not being like massive, but his hair did poof in, and I I cracked. That was the point where I had to get up and just walk away. And I'm done after that. The shine on his head. I can't. Oh. I Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinary, like I'm losing my words again. I Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, accept your challenge. He's incredible, so bold, so majestic, just like a warrior of light. No, a gentleman of light. he's exceptionally something. Corps Inspector Hildebrand, you look amazing. Oh, I'm done. And what I've decided after all of this, is that I'm going to save the rest of this quest chain for live streaming, for when I start live streaming. I'm not going to do any more of it because this is absurd, and there's no way I can edit this down into like a proper like length video for YouTube. Like I said, I edited the whole thing down. I spent hours editing it. I shouldn't have done that. That was the mistake. And the video ended up being 53 minutes long, and I was like, this isn't a bad video, but it's literally just me reading quest text for 53 minutes. And I hate reading out loud to begin with. So it's just not a great video, right? It's not bad. It's just not what I want to put on my channel. So this is more like along the style of what I'd been doing initially. It just wasn't what I had planned today. It wasn't what I wanted to do. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please remember to drop a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.